Have you ever felt like your bank account is a magic trick, but the bad kind? You know the one. You get paid, you live your life, you're not even being reckless. You tap your card for coffee, you tap your phone for gas, you order some food, you grab a few things online, and then you look at your account a week later and poof, the money is just gone. You're not broke because you bought a boat. You're broke from 1,000 tiny, invisible taps that you barely even remember making. You're left with this awful, sinking feeling of, wait, where did it all go? What if I told you that's not an accident? The problem isn't your willpower. The problem is that the entire financial system is designed to make your money feel invisible. You're spending, but your brain isn't registering the pain. What if I told you the problem isn't your spending? It's that you're spending money that doesn't even feel real. And today, I'm going to prove it to you. My name is Jake, and my job here is to cut through the noise. They tell you that finance is complicated, but the truth is the most powerful strategies are surprisingly simple. My goal is to show you how money really works so you can take control and get your money right. If you're tired of the confusing advice and want the straight talk on building wealth, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button if this video gives you some clarity. Now, before we get into the how-to, we have to talk about the why. This is the most important part. Most people approach budgeting like it's some kind of medieval torture device. They think it's about complicated spreadsheets, tracking every last penny, and saying no to everything that brings them joy. They try it for a week, they feel miserable, and they quit. And then they blame themselves. They think, I just don't have enough willpower. I'm just not a numbers person. But the problem isn't your willpower. The problem is the system you're using. Let me give you the single most important analogy for your money. Using your debit or credit card is like playing a video game. You get paid, and your account says you have 1,200 points. It feels abundant. It feels abstract. So you go to the store, you tap your card, and the screen just says you now have 1,160 points. There's no friction. There's no pain. Your brain doesn't register that as a real loss. It's just a number going down. Marketers and banks love this. They've spent billions of dollars to make spending as fast, painless, and invisible as possible. The cash envelope system is the antidote. This system is like cashing out of that video game and sitting down at a real-life poker table with a physical stack of $1,200 in chips. Real, heavy, tangible chips. You're not just getting points added to your score. You are getting a physical stack of chips. Now, when you want to buy that $40 dinner, you can't just tap. You have to physically count out 4 $10 chips. 1, 2, 3, 4. And slide them across the table to the dealer. You see your stack shrink. You feel that stack in your hand get lighter. And that feeling, that little tiny sting of loss aversion, that is the most powerful financial tool you have. It hurts, just a little. And that little bit of friction, that little bit of pain is everything. It forces your brain to wake up. You stop playing loose and fast with your money, and you start playing smart. This isn't about restriction. This is about making your spending real again. It's about fighting back against the illusion of digital money and forcing your brain to play with real stakes. Throughout this video, I'm going to break down exactly how this psychological hack works. We are not just talking about stuffing cash in old paper envelopes like your grandma did. We're going to cover the entire system, the right way to do it. We're talking about how to organize your chips into the 4 critical stacks that matter. We're going to cover why one of those stacks is the secret weapon of all smart money managers. And most importantly, I'm going to show you how you can get started today, even if your budget is stretched to the max, with something as simple as a $2 accordion file from Walmart. So let's start with the absolute basics. What is this system? And why does it work when your fancy budgeting app failed you? At its core, the cash envelope system is just a zero-based budget in physical form. That's a fancy term for a simple idea. You pull your money out of the bank when you get paid, and you give every single dollar a specific job before the month begins. Let's go back to our poker table. This is the first thing a professional player does when they sit down. They don't just have one big, messy pile of chips. That's what amateurs do. A pro immediately organizes them. They'll say, okay, this stack of $500 in chips, this is my must-pay stack. This is for the blinds and the antes that the dealer is going to take no matter what. I cannot touch this stack. This stack of $400, this is my playing stack for today's game. This is what I'm willing to risk. When this stack is gone, I'm done for the day. And this little stack of $100, I'm setting this aside. I'm not playing with it. I'm saving it for the big tournament next month. This is exactly what giving your money a job means. You are no longer just reacting to life. You're not just hoping you have enough left for rent. You are creating a plan for your chips before the first hand is even dealt. The average person gets their $1,200 paycheck and thinks, great, I have $1,200 to spend. The cash budgeter gets their $1,200 paycheck and knows, I have $80 for eating out for the next 2 weeks, because that is the physical stack they built for it. This one mental shift is the entire foundation. It moves you from being a panicky, emotional amateur who's just guessing to a calm, strategic pro who knows exactly what they're doing. Okay, so if you're going to be a pro at this, how do you actually organize your chips? This is where most beginners get totally overwhelmed, but it's really simple. I break it all down into 4 main stacks, or 4 main categories. These are bills, variable expenses, sinking funds, and savings challenges. First, you have your bills stack. This is the boring one, but it is completely non-negotiable. This is your rent or mortgage, your electric bill, your water bill, your car insurance, your internet, any subscription you're committed to. In our poker analogy, this is the ante. It's the money you must pay just to stay in the game. Now, how you handle this is up to you. Some people literally pull this out in cash, put it in an envelope labeled rent, and hold on to it. Personally, I find that a little risky. What I do, and what most people in the cash budgeting community do, is I calculate all my fixed bills for the month. Let's say it's $1,000. I get paid 4 times a month, so I know that every single week, $250 of my paycheck is not mine. It belongs to the bills stack. I leave that $250 in my bank account. I don't touch it. I pretend it doesn't exist. Then, on the first of the month, I have the full $1,000 sitting there, and I pay all my bills online in one sitting. The point is, this money is spoken for. It is not your money to spend on fun. You've set those chips aside for the dealer. Second, you have your variable expenses. This is your main playing stack. This is the money for all the things that change from week to week. Groceries, gas, fast food, shopping, fun money, date night. This is the cash you actually pull out of the bank. This is the binder or the set of envelopes you will actually carry with you. And here's the kicker. This is the only stack you should be carrying. Think about it. You wouldn't walk around a casino with your entire bankroll, all your rent money, and all your tournament savings stuffed in your back pocket, would you? Of course not. You'd leave that safe in your room. You only bring the chips you are willing to play with for that night. This binder is your play money for the week. You've already set aside your bill money. Now you pull out, say, $200 in cash. You sit down at your kitchen table and stuff your envelopes. You put $100 in the groceries envelope. You put $40 in gas. You put $40 in fast food and $20 in fun. Now, when you go to the grocery store, you use the cash from that envelope. When you want to grab lunch, you look in your fast food envelope. If it's empty, you can't get fast food. You have to wait until your next payday when you reload that envelope. It is a hard, physical limit. It's not a number on a screen you can just ignore. It's an empty envelope. You can't spend what you don't have. This one change, all by itself, will stop your overspending overnight. Separating your non-negotiable bills from your daily variable spending is the first step to ending that "where did it all go" anxiety. But the next two categories, this is where you really change the game. All right, I need you to pay close attention because this next part is, in my opinion, where the real magic of cash budgeting happens. If you do this one thing, you will literally never have a financial emergency again for the rest of your life. I'm talking about sinking funds. It sounds like a weird, jargony term, but a sinking fund is just a category where you save small amounts of money over time for a large, predictable expense in the future. Let's go straight back to the poker table. You're playing your weekly game, your variable expenses. You're managing that stack just fine. But you know that in 3 months, there's a big tournament coming up. Let's say this tournament is your car insurance, which is $600 and due twice a year. The amateur player just ignores this. They're totally focused on their weekly game. Then suddenly the tournament is announced. Hey, your $600 entry fee is due now. The amateur panics. Oh crap, I need $600. I don't have $600 in my play stack. They have to borrow money from a friend. They have to sell their watch. Or they have to take all their bill money and use it for the tournament, hoping they can win it all back before rent is due. It's a crisis. The pro knows the tournament is coming. They've had it on their calendar for months. So, what do? Every single week, they take a few chips, say $25, from their winnings, and they put them in a separate, growing stack labeled tournament. When the tournament day finally comes, is it an emergency? Is it a crisis? Is there any panic? No. They just calmly pick up their dedicated tournament stack, pay the $600 entry fee, and sit down to play. It's just a Tuesday. This is what you are doing with sinking funds. You know your car will need an oil change and new tires. That is not an emergency. It's an inevitability. You know your kids will need new clothes for winter. You know Christmas is coming on December 25th. It has not changed dates. You know you'll need to renew your Amazon Prime membership. These are not surprises. They are predictable, non-monthly expenses that you have been treating like emergencies. So you stop. You make an envelope for car maintenance and you put $20 in it every single week. You make one for new clothes and put $10 in it. You make one for Christmas and put $25 in it. This is the single biggest mindset shift in all of personal finance. It's moving from a reactive survival mode to a proactive professional one. You stop being afraid of the future because you are actively setting aside the chips to pay for it. The last category is savings challenges. Now, you might be asking, Jake, how is this different from a sinking fund? To be honest, they're very, very similar. But the difference, once again, comes back to psychology. For me, sinking funds are for things that motivate you. They're things you want to be prepared for, like a vacation fund or new phone fund. You get excited to stuff those envelopes because you're looking forward to the reward. Savings challenges are for things that are intimidating, overwhelming, or just less fun. So you turn them into a game to trick your brain into doing them. Let's say your big, scary goal is pay off $5,000 in credit card debt. That's not fun. That's a huge, scary number. It feels like a grind. Having an envelope that just says debt is depressing. You will probably avoid stuffing it and put that money in your fun envelope instead. So you turn it into a side bet. You get a little printable coloring sheet that has 100 little flowers on it. Every time you stuff an extra $5 into your debt envelope, you get to color in one of the flowers. Or you do a $1 challenge. You get a special box and every single $1 bill you get as change, no matter what, goes into that box. At the end of the month, you count it up and put it all toward your debt. This is just a psychological trick. It's like the little achievement unlocked or level up sounds in a video game. They make the grind fun. They give your brain a tiny little hit of dopamine for doing the right thing. It motivates you to pay for things in cash just so you can get a $1 bill back for your challenge. This system works because it acknowledges that we're not robots. We're emotional creatures. By making the boring, hard parts of finance feel like a game, you make them sustainable. You're hacking your own brain to build wealth faster. Okay, Jake, I'm in. This all makes sense. The poker analogy, the psychology, I get it. But I'm looking at your setup. You've got 4 different binders. You've got vinyl-labeled zipper pouches. You've got printable trackers. This looks expensive, and I'm already broke. And it looks overwhelming. Where do I even start? This is the most important piece of advice in this entire video. If you are just starting out, and especially if you are on a tight budget, I want you to listen to me very, very carefully. Do not go out and buy a bunch of fancy binders and pouches from Etsy. And do not start with a full, complicated, variable spending budget. I am dead serious. This is the mistake I made, and it's the reason 99% of people quit this system. They try to go from 0 to 100. They try to build the perfect 50-category system overnight. Then they feel overwhelmed, they mess up one time, and they quit. Here is what you are going to do instead. First, you're going to go to Walmart or the dollar store or Amazon, and you are going to buy a cheap $2 accordion file, one of those little plastic ones. Or, even cheaper, you're going to grab 5 or 6 regular paper envelopes. That's it. Forget the fancy binders for now. Second, for your bills and variable expenses, you are going to do nothing but track for 1 full month. Do not set a budget yet. Get a cheap notebook and a pen. Every single time you spend money, you write it down. On the first, you paid $1,000 in rent. On the second, you went to McDonald's and spent $7.50. On the fourth, you went to Walmart for a few things and spent $121.40. Write it all down. At the end of the month, you're going to sit down and see the truth. You'll add it all up and you'll see, whoa, I thought I spent about $400 on food. I actually spent $950. You cannot make a realistic plan. You can't know how to stack your chips until you know the facts of where your chips are actually going. Tracking is the first step. While you are tracking your spending for that first month, you are going to take your cheap accordion file and create 5 sinking funds that excite you. Do not start with new tires or dental work. That's boring. Start with vacation. Start with date night, new video game, family fun, tattoos. I don't care what it is. Pick 5 things that make you want to save money. Then, from your very next paycheck, I want you to put $5 in each of them. Just $25 total. This does 2 things. First, it gets you hooked on the feeling of saving. You'll see those little $5 bills start to add up, and it will feel good. It will build the habit. Second, it proves to you that you can save, even if it's just a small amount. Then, after you've tracked your spending for a full month, you can sit down and create your realistic variable budget. You'll know you need $950 for food, not $400. Maybe you can trim it to $800. That's a realistic goal. And because you've already built the habit of stuffing your fun sinking funds, the whole system will feel like a win, not a punishment. So, in the end, the cash envelope system isn't some outdated, weird trick from your grandma's era. It's a powerful psychological hack. It's about quitting the video game of digital money, where your points just disappear into a void, and sitting down at the poker table with real, physical chips. It's about making your money tangible again. It's about forcing your brain to feel the weight of your decisions, which is the only way to take back control. Is it more work than just tapping a card? Yes. It requires you to be intentional. It requires 20 minutes a week to sit down and stack your chips for the week ahead. But the choice is simple. Do you want the 1-second convenience of a tap, followed by a month of that where did it all go anxiety? Or do you want 20 minutes of planning, followed by a month of total clarity, confidence, and control? The person you'll be in 6 months, the one who isn't panicking when the car breaks down, the one who is paying for Christmas gifts in cash without a shred of guilt, the one who is actually excited to save money, that person is counting on you to make that choice today. If this video gave you some clarity, prove it to your future self by hitting that subscribe button. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos on cash stuffing, savings challenges, and all the tricks I use to make this system work. I'll see you in the next one. Get your money right.